Everything that is now non-negotiable in my homeschool, I unfortunately had to learn the hard way. Because before, I believed in standards and structure and non-negotiables, I actually believed something far more dangerous. And you might think that I'm being dramatic. Sometimes I am, but I feel like this is not one of those circumstances. I actually believed that if I remained flexible enough in my homeschooling, that everything would eventually work itself out. It did not. And if you watched my last video, the one where I'm talking about graduating 3 students so far and every mistake that I made along the way, and also realizing that I could have done so much better for them. Well, this is the middle chapter of that story. So if you have not watched part 1 yet, you might want to pause this video and go do that. You can find that video right here. But this video is all about what I used to do and why I will never go back to homeschooling that way. So let me show you exactly what that looked like in real life. So let's talk about everything that I tried. I ran very flexible mornings. I actually used to have a few YouTube videos about why I was so proud that I did it this way. This was years and years and years ago. Let me tell you something. That was not serving my homeschool well at all. Some days I would not even get out of bed until 7:30 or 8 in the morning. Now I get up at 5. Our mornings were just chaos. We would not even think about starting school really until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. That's just too late. And I'm not talking about occasionally doing this. I'm talking about every single weekday morning. This is what our mornings looked like. There was absolutely no structure whatsoever. There was no clear start time and there was no urgency. Another thing that I did that was a huge mistake was I was really waiting for buy-in from my students before I required any sort of standard whatsoever. I was bamboozled by this whole idea of we want our children to love learning and it's so much easier this way and it's so fantastic. And so I was really waiting for this alleged love of learning to start happening like this was some fairy tale, and I was in the middle of the woods in a cabin with all of these dwarves or something. I'm not really sure what I was waiting for, but it was nothing like what the reality of my situation actually looked like. And I'd be willing to hazard a bet that you're experiencing something pretty similar if you were also waiting for that love of learning to happen. I told myself this lie that once my children were motivated, internally motivated, that is when the magic would happen. Another thing that I did that I never should have done was I offered way too many options. I was really abdicating my parental authority in this area. Well, all of the areas, but especially this one, the whole, let me offer what they want to learn and they can choose their own journey. They got to choose what subjects they did first. They got to choose how much time they spent on each subject. And somehow, some way, they also got to choose what could wait for later. This is a recipe for disaster. Because let me let you in on a little secret here. That later that they would often defer to, it happened most of the time. Another thing that I did that was completely wrong was I was constantly adjusting everything. I was adjusting the schedule, or the lack of a schedule really. I was adjusting expectations for myself and for my children. I would adjust the workload. If a student came to me in tears, "Oh, Mom, I just can't do this. I'm too stupid to do this." I fell for that trick every single time, and it was a trick. Here's another one that was a doozy. Every single week in my homeschool for years on end, Monday felt like a reset. Do you know how exhausting that is? And really every month in the school year felt like a new experiment. I had stumbled across some gal's blog. I'm sure she was well-meaning, and that got me on a rabbit trail. And then the next month it was a different rabbit trail. So many rabbit trails, so little actually accomplished. Here's another big one. I assumed that maturity would happen on its own. Let me tell you a little secret. Maturity never happens in a vacuum. And I also assumed that my children would magically become consistent once they reached a certain age. I had no idea what that age was, but I was assuming it would happen, even though I myself was showing none of this consistency in my 20s or in my 30s. What I didn't see at the time that I came to realize is that I was operating this homeschool, I use that term loosely, that needed a constant oversight, constant management, constant back to the drawing board in an effort to have a peaceful homeschool. This was not working. What my homeschool really needed was clear leadership. So let's talk about why all of these things that I did wrong felt so reasonable to me at the time. And this is why I stayed in this phase for over a decade, really probably for a decade and a half. It all sounded so respectful toward my children. I was told by many, many, many different sources that structure is oppressive to children and to learning, and that it was actually freedom in learning that was formative. It was culturally affirmed in the homeschool world, every single place that I turned. And I believe that you have probably experienced this as well. I receive so many comments every single day saying, you're the only person that's saying these things. So I know this idea is completely rampant. Every single place I looked, this flexible homeschooling, this peaceful homeschooling was put forth as being enlightened. What it really did was it reduced short-term conflicts, because when you're not enforcing expectations, there's nothing to argue over. And yes, of course, it all felt very loving, okay? I genuinely believe that I was prioritizing my relationship with my children over this rigid schedule or rigid academic standards. What I really didn't understand was that I was shortchanging my children. I was compromising. I was choosing that short-term ease for the long-term care of my children, for the long-term growth of their character, and for their academic formation. That is not a good deal. So then the cost started showing up. Not all at once, but little by little, I started noticing some things. What I got as a result of this decade and a half of poor choices was chronic inconsistency. Every single one of my homeschool days relied on me noticing, me redirecting, me reminding or nagging, whichever one you want to say, and then adjusting. I wasn't just tired from teaching all day, because let's be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of teaching going on. I was tired from having to make decisions all day long. I started feeling resentment. I started saying things like, I don't love homeschooling, I love the results. But let's be honest here, I didn't even love the results. And here's the truth of the matter. The whole homeschool day would completely collapse if I had to step away. If I had an appointment that I had to go to, if I got sick, nobody was capable of doing anything without me. Academically, we had gaps forming. They weren't dramatic ones, they were subtle ones. But as my children got closer and closer to graduation, I started realizing, okay, Ashley, it's now or never. It's time to change things around here. My children were unfortunately becoming more and more dependent on me instead of more capable over time. And that is what that's what we're headed towards, right? We want our children to become more capable the older they get, not less. And these problems were not because my children lacked ability. It was just because there was no structure built into their day to hold everything together. Nothing happened automatically in our home, and nothing was really anchored. So let's talk about the real problem here. And this is really what most people get wrong. It was not that my children were necessarily unmotivated. It was more that I had outsourced my homeschool leadership to the circumstances of each individual day. Our energy levels, our moods, sicknesses going through the house, all of that was a factor that never should have been. Because here's the truth, leadership that depends on circumstances is not actually leadership at all. Children do not need constant flexibility. In fact, I would argue that that is one of the worst things for them. Children need clarity. They thrive on clarity, and they thrive on standards, and they thrive on knowing exactly what is expected of them every single day and having it not change very often. So this is where I need to be very, very honest with you, and a little bit vulnerable too. This is hard to admit. I was not confused. I was not incapable. And I wasn't unaware. I was actually lazy. Not lazy in the sense of not caring, because I cared very much, but lazy in the sense of avoiding the harder work of leadership. I chose flexibility because it required less follow through. It required less effort from me. I chose to constantly adjust things because it meant that I could just relax the standards. I chose to just see how things would go instead of deciding how things were going to go. Do you see the difference there? And I told myself this little lie that all of this was me exercising wisdom. But it was not wisdom. It was avoidance. And once I was willing to name that without excuses, without blaming homeschool culture, and without hiding behind good intentions, things finally changed. Because here is the truth. You cannot fix what you continue to justify. Most women do not actually need more reassurance. What they need is permission to say, I have been phoning it in at my homeschool and I am done doing that. Ownership is really the beginning of authority. And until you take ownership, you're never going to be able to step into that authority. So eventually I realized that I really was not running a homeschool. I was reacting to one. And after graduating 3 children and being radically honest with the state of the union, so to speak, and about what needed to be stronger, I finally found the courage to change. Okay, let's talk about what I did to start fixing things. Surprise, surprise, the fix was not changing curriculum. It was structure. I know that I bang on this structure drum all the time. You're probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but it's true. This is what is needed. Clear start times, defined daily work, non-negotiables that did not depend on my mood. And all of these reasons is why I really created the Homeschool Schedule Blueprint, because that is the way to achieve structure, to have a schedule. I know that it is at this point basically a curse word in the homeschool community, but a schedule is the beginning of the fix. Structure alone, though, is really not going to be quite enough to help you stop second guessing yourself. So one of the things that really helped me in the long run was finding some other moms who held this standard of excellence. And actually, I found these moms in my past more than my present. So there were a few moms that when I was a young homeschool mom first starting off, I remembered that they were telling me that I needed to have standards in my homeschool and that there were certain things that had to be done every day. So I actually looped back around to those wise older women and asked them to help me out. And they did. Being in a community with women who are unwilling to allow you to continue to drift through this peaceful, flexible homeschool way is really important. And this is one reason why I created the Headmistress Circle, because I had so many of you telling me in the comments that they don't have anyone in their lives who this is important to. They have no one to surround themselves with. And all of the Facebook groups and all of the Facebook pages online and all of the YouTubers and Instagrammers, they're, this product of homeschool culture, which is, loosey-goosey, no standards. Let's just do art all day. So that's why I created the Headmistress Circle, so that I could create a community that was focused on homeschool excellence so that we can all push each other forward instead of just staying in the same spot or even going backwards. You can find more information on both of those in the description box below. So if you're here right now and this is one of the first videos of mine that you've seen, I want you to understand that I am not trying to condemn you at all. And if you recognize yourself and your homeschool in any of this, the answer is not to try harder or to be more flexible. The answer is to start leading differently. In my next video, I will be showing you more about what I actually do now and what changed once I stopped reacting to every day in homeschool and started proactively leading it. I'll see you in that next video.